Back here live in Kabul tonight, hardly anybody is really expecting Afghanistan's presidential elections to be fully free or indeed fair. Rough and ready was how one diplomat described it to me. This is, after all, the first poll since 2001 to be run by the Afghans with international support, and the single biggest topic of conversation, of course, is security. I'm joined again by Ajmal Khan Zazai, Afghan tribal leader who's currently in self-imposed exile in Dubai, and as you may have heard just now, fairly critical of what's happening here at the moment. And from the UK political perspective, I'm joined also by James Arbbuthnot, who's chairman of the All-Party Commons Defence Committee. Let me bring in James Arbbuthnot. Very good evening to you. You may have been listening to some of what's been going on here. Certainly Mr. Zazai's comment there that the country is falling apart and that there is a very critical situation that perhaps this election cannot make much difference to. Do you believe that, or do you believe that it is perhaps a chance to make a fresh start and move on in this country?
I think it's a bit of a policy of despair. That I do think that it's an extremely important opportunity for the Afghans to express their own view about how their government should be run. The most important thing about all of this is that the presidential candidate should be the person who commands the support of the majority of Afghans. And so I don't myself think that Afghanistan is falling apart. I think it's very important that they do their utmost to get it right. It won't be perfect, far from it, but they must do their utmost to take this chance and vote tomorrow.
Do you believe that the British military role here particularly is a clear mission that everybody can understand, and that we know what we are doing here and how we're trying to help the government and the new government that will soon be in place here?
It's becoming a bit clearer. It has had a rather divided role. We went in to Afghanistan in the first place as a response to the attacks of 9/11 to try to deal with the root of terrorism in Afghanistan. Then when we moved towards the south, there was the additional role of trying to defeat the narcotics trade. Now I think the most important thing is to be able to create stability in Afghanistan so that the dual countries of Afghanistan and Pakistan, the most unstable region of the world, can become less of a threat to the United Kingdom and to the rest of the world than they are at the moment. And that requires a degree of security which is helped by the British military presence there.
Ajmal Khan Zazai in Dubai, give us a view on your thought as an Afghan on the role of the NATO, the ISAF forces here, the British forces, the American forces, how welcome they are, what role they are doing in supporting this government.
Well, I think they're playing, as I said before, a significant role because Afghanistan needed a partner, and we saw what the Russians did to Afghanistan. They invaded Afghanistan, they destroyed our infrastructure, they destroyed our country, and we lost 2 million people in that war. Then afterwards, the warlords took over the government. They could not be united in order to form a coalition government with 7 or 8 political parties. However, that led to a civil war, which we only in Kabul, they have killed over 60,000 innocent women, children, and men. And then the Taliban era was enforced, and we saw what kind of brutality they brought upon the Afghan nation. When the intervention took place for various reasons, as you suggested, you just said that, because America and Europe was threatened from Afghanistan. The role of the United Kingdom, the NATO in Afghanistan, to a certain degree, it's positive. But there are a lot of mistakes happen, a lot of incidents, a lot of accidents happen, which innocent lives were lost, and searches of the houses and so forth, which is usually against the Afghan culture. And there is some sentiment started against the foreign troops in Afghanistan, and a great deal of that was contributed by other regional powers. I do not wish to them their names, but I think we all know that they contributed towards that. So we ended up having a hostile situation, and also the Kabul government, unfortunately, was also not very helpful in tackling the domestic issues of the Afghans, like clean judiciary, corruption. They couldn't fight the corruption, and the infrastructure was not put there in order for the Afghans to see that the world is there in order to help them. Other than that, Afghanistan needs a partnership with NATO.
Let me bring in James
they need a
Arbbuthnot
partnership
there.
with the United States.
Let me bring in